Hey everyone, the case of TNC and TND is an important decision in Singapore's family law, particularly in how matrimonial assets are divided upon divorce. Unlike most cases that follow a global assessment approach, this case applied the classification methodology, where different categories of assets were assessed separately. This approach fundamentally changed the way courts could analyze contributions made by spouses, particularly when one party had significant financial investments while the other contributed indirectly through caregiving and household management. TNC and TND were married in 2001 and had a son in 2011. The husband was a senior executive at a multinational energy corporation, spending years on overseas assignments, while the wife was a homemaker since 2006. During the marriage, the couple ventured into property development and incorporated several companies to manage their real estate investments. Their portfolio included multiple properties in Singapore and Malaysia, with some appreciating significantly in value. However, by 2013, the marriage had broken down irretrievably, leading to divorce proceedings. An interim judgment was granted in 2014, and the couple subsequently contested the issues of child custody, maintenance, and the division of assets. The court had to determine three key issues in the ancillary proceedings. The first was custody, care, and access to the child. The wife, being the primary caregiver, sought full care and control, while the husband argued for joint custody and greater access. The second issue was maintenance, with the wife claiming financial support and the husband arguing that she was already receiving a substantial share of the assets. The third issue, and the most legally complex, was the division of matrimonial assets. The parties disagreed over how their properties and investments should be apportioned, given that the husband had made most of the financial contributions while the wife had provided non-financial support by managing the household and assisting in property matters. On the question of child custody, the court ordered that both parents would have joint custody, meaning that they would share responsibility for major decisions regarding their child's welfare. However, the wife was granted care and control, which meant that the child would live with her. The husband was granted weekly access of 2 hours and additional reasonable access, provided that both parties cooperated in making flexible arrangements. The court emphasized that both parents had a duty to facilitate the child's relationship with the other parent and that the wife should not restrict access arbitrarily. Regarding maintenance, the wife argued that she was financially dependent and needed financial support from the husband, having been out of the workforce for years. The husband then argued that she was already receiving a significant share of the matrimonial assets and had the ability to invest and generate her own income. The court ultimately ruled that no maintenance should be awarded to the wife, as her financial settlement from the division of assets was substantial. However, the husband was ordered to pay child maintenance of 3,500 per month to ensure that their child's expenses was adequately covered. The division of matrimonial assets was the most contentious issue, particularly because of the methodology applied. Traditionally, Singapore courts use a global assessment approach, where all matrimonial assets are pooled together and each party's contributions, both direct and indirect, are assessed to determine a fair split. In this case, however, the court applied the classification methodology, treating certain assets separately based on their nature and the contributions made towards them. The assets were divided into two categories. Group A comprised the quintessential matrimonial assets, that means those acquired during the marriage and directly benefiting both parties. For this group, the wife was awarded 40% and the husband received 60%. Group B consisted of assets that had substantially increased in value due to the husband's sole efforts after the marriage had effectively ended, such as the Jalan Pinang properties. For these, the wife received a smaller 20% share, while the husband retained 80%. This approach recognized that while the wife had contributed to the overall marital partnership, certain assets were primarily the result of the husband's independent financial acumen, and post-separation efforts. This case is significant because it illustrates how courts can adapt their approach to asset division to achieve a more equitable outcome. Rather than treating all assets as a single pool, the classification methodology allowed the court to differentiate between different types of contributions. This nuanced approach provides greater fairness in cases where one spouse has made substantial post-separation financial contributions while the other has primarily contributed during the marriage in other ways. Beyond the legal principles, this case reflects a broader reality of human relationships, the impermanence of material possessions, and the shifting nature of personal bonds. A home that was once a shared sanctuary becomes a divisible asset. Bank accounts that once symbolized mutual prosperity become sources of contention. Even time with a child, once naturally available to both parents, must now be allocated and negotiated. What was once whole is now split, not just legally but emotionally. This echoes a fundamental truth. Nothing in life is static, and all things eventually change. The struggle over assets, custody, and maintenance is, at its core, a struggle against the inevitable restructuring of life. True resolution comes not from fighting over material wealth, but from finding acceptance in transition. This case serves as a reminder that while the law seeks fairness, peace of mind comes from letting go of attachment. The greatest wealth is not found in properties or bank accounts, but in clarity, balance, and the ability to move forward. The legal battle may have ended with numbers on paper, but the real challenge for both parties lies in rebuilding their lives with the understanding that nothing is ever truly permanent. Thanks for joining me in this case summary. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.